We've got Utah Valley head coach Dick Hunsaker and student athletes Holton Hunsaker and Ben Aird. Coach, we'll take an opening comment from you, then we'll take some questions.
This was the third of a real hard-fought back-and-forth games with Idaho, and I thought tonight they got the upper hand early and maintained the edge throughout. I thought they played well, and congratulations to them.
Open it up for questions. If you got a question, just raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone over to you.
Coach, were they necessarily doing anything different than they did the first time? You said that those are two close games as well, but was it just maybe more of a complete effort from Idaho, or were they doing anything different?
No, they basically ran everything the same, and their confidence is up. You know, in tournament play, you catch teams on rolls that are feeling better, trying to salvage seasons right now. That's probably the most difficult thing for us, is we had such a wonderful season, and conference play was a WAC championship, and teams in conference tournaments such as this are trying to salvage years, and maybe they just had a little bit more hunger, a little bit more edge at times. And you know, we're a team that plays, if we're not stretched, if we're not at our max, if there's really not a lot of room for error with our club. And I thought they just were a little bit more aggressor, a bit of the aggressor. Again, they'll hit those first 3 threes of the game, and that kind of set a tempo for them.
Holton, you're obviously understandably emotional out there at the end of the game. You just talk about what this season has meant to you, and has it kind of sunk in that instead of NCAA tournament dreams, still have, you know, postseason alive, but just what are your emotions right now?
This. You know, we're extremely proud of our season, Ben and I, for sure. Extremely appreciative and grateful for the success that we've seen, and the opportunity now to play in the NIT is more than what Ben and I ever thought we were going to get coming to UVU. And so, of course, it's always tough to lose, but looking back on this season, there's only happy thoughts and good things.
Same question.
Same exact kind of feelings. I mean, many of you have probably heard us say over and over that we're just a very close team. There's just a bunch of high character people on this team, and our time spent together has been something I'll remember for the rest of my life. And so these are some of the best friends I'll ever have. And so obviously there's obviously some disappointment, but looking back on the year, like Holton said, nothing but good memories with some of the best people I know.
Coach, it's kind of a well-worn cliche that it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. Do you find that's true?
Well, I mean, you know, it's a cliche. If you're better than them, you're going to beat them 3 times. And you know, as I said earlier, that, you know, I learned a long time ago in sport that they're all proud. They're all competitors, and you know, no one wants to get beat. And we had 2 wins against Idaho, and both games actually went certainly down to the last minute and one to the last seconds. And I know they had a lot of determination, and again, they're on the uptick. And so when people say it's hard to beat a team 3 times, I think a lot of that is dependent upon, you know, who you're playing, what their state of mind is, and a lot of things that really go into the makeup of trying to get that 3rd win. And the conference tournaments have certainly brought that to light immensely across America, and everybody's asking that same question as they face teams, as the upper echelon schools, the teams that win the championship. They do have to turn around and be significantly better to take the best shot from the opposition that's coming at them.
Thank you.
Dick, Madison's really had some good games of late and everything, and what were the challenges, of course, not just guarding him, but the way he was out of the game, in the game, and the way they had to rotate around his foul trouble?
Madison's an interesting guy. He's going to be a wealthy professional player at some level somewhere. He's got a lot of game. He's really an odd-sized guy that has such a variety, is so deceptive with his ball skills. And he can score. Really, just the latter part of the season, has he really picked up knocking that three ball in. If you looked at his stats prior to our game at Orem this year, he was shooting, I believe, under 30% from the three. And he's really picked it up here, and he makes it just a really difficult matchup. And to be honest with you, I thought we did a very commendable job on him. He's got a lot of juke, and again, you know, you get an exceptional individual guy, he can cause us trouble. You know, we don't really have a strapling athlete somewhere that's going to lock somebody up, and we have to do it as a team. And they have a lot of scores on that club, and they kind of maybe stretched us out a little bit more than, and he got free. You know, excellent rebounder, nice knack at timing, and a lot of self has a lot of self-confidence out there.
Holton, how important is it that fans and the students and even you guys, the team, look back at this season and remember all the positive things and the first ever things you accomplished, rather than looking back and going, well, that's the team that didn't make it to the NCAA tournament?
No one had any expectations for us. We are very appreciative of our fans that came out and supported us this tournament and throughout our entire season, and we were just happy to see it grow throughout the year. It got more and more fun to come to the games. It got more and more exciting. And I think as you know, next year's team sees success as well and continues to work, they'll keep coming. And looking back on the year, hopefully they won't look back and say that's the team that didn't make it. You know, it's kind of, you know, hopefully they'll just have the same good memories that we did, that, and understanding this is just a start. You know, first year in WAC play, and be able to do what we did was pretty amazing. And hopefully that's the way that they'll look at it.
Dick, it seemed like every time Idaho created a bigger gap, you were able to come right back. What did you tell your team, or what enabled you guys to remain close despite their pushes?
Well, again, we've been there many times this year, and as I think it's correct, I think we won 15 of the last 18 games, something to that effect, or 14 of the last 17, somewhere in there. And we certainly had a winning mentality about us, and you know, different guys would step up, make plays, make a shot, and you know, it just what really occurred. We a number of times would get right on the brink of needing a play or a basket to get over the hump and maybe take a little bit of a lead, and we never really were quite there. We got to the threshold a number of times, and you know, the games often change when you can get the upper hand in it, and we weren't quite able to do that tonight.
Holton, it seemed like Idaho really extended its defense, stretched it out on the perimeter. What problems did that create tonight?
That pressure really does make it hard to get into offenses and things, and we let it bother us a lot getting into our offenses. And their guards are really athletic and they're strong, and so give them a lot of credit for the effort that they did. And you know, as just looking at the turnovers, they obviously forced myself into turnovers that, you know, they got careless with, and again, credit them for doing so. But yeah, the pressure just takes you out of what your comfort zone, I guess to say, and takes you out of what you're so used to doing.
And Ben, after such a great game last night, shooting the ball on the perimeter, you guys were really able to dominate in the paint. What enabled you guys to have success down low?
Just give my teammates a lot of credit for, like Colton said, it was tough at times to get into the offensive sets, but when we were able to do that, we were able to find some success down there. Just teammates putting each other in the right positions to be successful and to get a good look, and so a lot of credit to our teammates for running the offensive sets correctly.
Coach, is this a culmination of maybe the frustration that the regular season champion is not going to be the one bid for the NCAA tournament because of all the focus on conference play? Is there frustration that, or have you pretty much accepted that this is the way college basketball is, that maybe the regular season champion doesn't get the automatic bid?
Right. No, I've been involved with conference tournaments since they played. As a Big Sky conference player, I believe the Big Sky was the second after the ACC and the Big Eight at that time. They had to expand out to a conference tournament. So I've really been in my entire career and understand what they mean and what they're about and how difficult they are. There's very few regular season champions that continue and run through their conference tournament, particularly, to be honest, a team like ourselves that did a lot of overachieving and a lot of were underrated by many until they finally permanently had to put their name on top of those WAC standings.
Right up here in front.
Coach, obviously you want to go to the NCAAs. Can you just talk about the idea of regrouping to play in the NIT next week?
Yeah, we have don't know when that will be, or usually it's just early in the week. I think this group, again, as the players have alluded to, is this group will regroup. They've enjoyed being with one another. There truly is a role definition amongst them. There's acceptance of roles, and I do believe their feet are planted. I mean, to Jason's question, absolutely would have been wonderful if we finished this incredible journey, a Cinderella story we've been involved with. It got derailed right here in the semis, but if we're going to get a chance to play, and we're well aware it will be a high level opponent, and our kids will refocus and regroup and look at that as an opportunity and a privilege that they're going to have to play again. I mean, it's a pretty special deal, to be honest, if we're going to head to the NIT. And I really believe we will regroup and play our hearts out.
For Colton and Ben, recognizing that you guys have one more game left to play, but after the result of that game, what will you tell the rest of your teammates, your underclassmen that will follow in your footsteps? What advice, what leadership, what legacy do you want to see them carry on?
Hopefully we've already said that through our actions throughout the year. I think we've both throughout the year said to them and the things that we've wanted to, and hopefully just, through our examples, what they remember, and most times that's what you do remember in people. You don't remember what they say or certain moments, but you remember their example throughout the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And to add on, just to know that hard work really, you can achieve more than people might expect of you. I mean, there wasn't the expectation for us to achieve what we did achieve, and I think a lot of credit needs to go for how hard each member of this team worked throughout the season, everyone accepting their roles. There's so many people on this team that maybe took a step back and in minutes, or they just accepted their role because they knew that as a unit we could accomplish more than we ever could individually. And I think that's a very valuable lesson that each one of us can learn and take into our lives. And like Holden said, I think our actions as a team will speak far louder than any words we could say.
Any more questions? One last question right here.
Dick, the last shot that Mitch got seemed like a pretty good look. Were you satisfied with that?
Under the circumstances, you know, you'd always like to have a cleaner look. You know, they were switching out, and you know, you know, when you run something late like that, you're kind of hoping that you get it. You just go up and shoot the ball, and I really thought Mitch did a good job of taking the shot and wanting the shot, and you know, again, we've had such a different mixture of different guys that made big plays this season. That's such a part of this group. I mean, there's, you know, so many clutch moments by so many different guys, and Holton obviously has a knack of being a terrific closer of ball games, and but it wasn't just he. It was a collection of guys that all did different things at different times, and you know, I just kind of thought what might be something that could free somebody for a look, and you know, I was pleased really the way Mitch wanted to take that shot.
All right, thanks you guys.